Welcome to our college briefing show, folks. Today, we're diving into a mix of stories that have caught our eye. First up, Rutgers football scores a touchdown in the recruitment game, snagging three-star defensive back Renick Dorilas. This top-10 New Jersey recruit chose Rutgers because, in his words, nobody has shown more love than Rutgers. It's like a high school romance, but with football and scholarships. Moving halfway across the globe, Vietnam is looking to China, not for a recipe for the perfect bowl of pho, but to develop its high-speed railway system. That's right, Vietnam wants to make train travel faster than your online food delivery. They're seeking China's expertise in technology and management to get this ambitious project on track. Choo-choo, Vietnam. And for our final ride today, we're heading to Tyler Junior College, where they're gearing up for a total solar eclipse with a week of out-of-this-world events. From dome shows to talks by astrophysicists and even a performance by the East Texas Symphony Orchestra. It's like Coachella, but for space nerds. So, whether you're into football, fast trains, or celestial events, we've got you covered. Stick around for more detailed content on these stories. Please, continue watching for more details. Top-10 New Jersey recruit Renick Dorilas breaks down his Rutgers football commitment. Nobody has shown more love than Rutgers. Yahoo! Rutgers football has nabbed three-star defensive back Renick Dorilas. The 5'11" defensive back, who will play for Don Bosco Prep next year, is a top-10 recruit in New Jersey and held offers from a number of colleges including Duke, Penn State, and West Virginia. Dorilas said he chose Rutgers because nobody had shown him more love than the school, and that the defensive coaches treated him like family. Vietnam wants to learn from China to develop high-speed railway system, says government. Yahoo! Vietnam is looking to China for guidance on developing its first high-speed railway network. The Vietnamese government wants to learn from China's experiences in technology, financial mobilization, and management expertise. China has the most developed railway industry in the world, and Vietnam hopes to leverage this knowledge to successfully implement its own high-speed rail system. TJC Science Center hosting week of events before total solar eclipse. Yahoo! Tyler Junior College, TJC, is to host a week of events in the lead-up to the solar eclipse on April 8. The Hudnall Planetarium will be showing two dome shows, Totality over Texas and Eclipse, The Sun Revealed, as well as a talk by astrophysicist Dr. Hakeem Alusii. The events will also include a performance by the East Texas Symphony Orchestra and a star party at the TJC Science Center. Accommodation sites across Tyler will host their own solar eclipse viewing events. BOJ's next hike likely in October at earliest, ex-official says. Bloomberg. A former Bank of Japan, BOJ, official has stated that the bank is unlikely to raise interest rates again for some time, predicting that October is the earliest that it might move next. The former official, Tsutomu Watanabe, expects the bank to take some time to gauge inflation trends, as the current price trend is not particularly strong. Watanabe also stated that the next most important task for Governor Kazuo Ueda is to map out a plan for quantitative tightening. Inside 10's 11th hour maneuver in the Lerman defamation case. The Sydney Morning Herald. Network 10 has sought to call fresh evidence in its defense against Bruce Lerman's defamation suit. The evidence is related to Lerman's alleged leaking of highly confidential information to 7 Network, which was used in their interview with Lerman in June 2023. It included text messages and pre-interview material with Brittany Higgins. If 10 can argue that the evidence casts doubt on Lerman's denial of being the source of the material, it would undermine Lerman's credibility and support 10's argument that his evidence in the defamation case should not be accepted. The federal court will hold a hearing to determine whether to allow 10 to reopen its case. This is not the first time a media outlet has introduced a surprise witness in a defamation case. In 2018, the Daily Telegraph sought to introduce a witness dubbed Witness X in the Jeffrey Rush defamation case, but the court rejected their application. It remains to be seen whether the federal court will allow 10 to introduce fresh evidence in the Lerman case. At the heart of the Lerman case is his claim that he was defamed by 10 and Lisa Wilkinson because the Project interview suggested he was guilty of sexually assaulting Brittany Higgins. The court will consider whether Lerman was identified in the broadcast and, if so, 10 and Wilkinson's defenses, including their defense of truth. Auerbach's evidence, while relevant to Lerman's credibility, does not directly address the sexual assault allegation. Havana Syndrome investigation links Russia to mysterious brain injuries. Telegraph. Members of Russian intelligence unit GRU's Unit 29155 are thought to have used sonic weapons, using radio frequencies to target U.S. diplomats, spies, contractors and their families, according to The Insider, Der Spiegel and CBS's 60 Minutes. The symptoms, which include hearing loss, insomnia, memory loss, poor balance and inability to concentrate, have been reported by more than 100 Americans and were first reported by U.S. Embassy staff in Cuba in 2016. The investigation also concludes that the unit was responsible for the attempted assassination of Sergei Skripal in Salisbury in 2018. This grave digger and prepper is now a man accused of murder. Yahoo! Chad Daybell's trial began on Monday for the murder of his wife, Tammy Daybell, and the murder of Lori Vallow's children, Tylee Ryan and J.J. Vallow. The trial is expected to last 8 weeks. Daybell is also charged with conspiracy to commit murder. Vallow was convicted of her children's murder in June and is serving multiple life sentences in prison. Daybell has pleaded not guilty. The couple became known after their children were reported missing in 2019. The remains of Ryan and Vallow were found on Daybell's property in 2020. Daybell and Vallow reportedly held apocalyptic beliefs and were involved with the prepper community, which prepares for catastrophic events. The sporting weekend in pictures. The Independent. Liverpool secured a 2-1 victory against Brighton, putting them 2 points ahead at the top of the Premier League. In addition, title rivals Manchester City and Arsenal played out a goalless draw. Cambridge won both the men's and women's boat races against Oxford, and Jannik Sinner won the Miami Open after his Australian Open victory. The PA News Agency has compiled a collection of the best images from the weekend's sporting events. Has ICE dysfunction made Utah a sanctuary state for migrants? Yahoo! Gubernatorial candidate Phil Lyman has focused recent campaign messaging on Utah's disputed status as a sanctuary state. The former state lawmaker, who is running in the Republican primary against Governor Spencer Cox, argued Utah is effectively a sanctuary state because U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, officers are unable to hold migrants who break the law after entering the country illegally in county jails for extended periods of time. Who is in the Final Four? Teams, odds, more for 2024 March Madness Semifinals, Championship. Yahoo! The 2024 NCAA Tournament Final Four will feature UConn, Purdue, Alabama, and NC State. The Final Four games will take place at the State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, with the winners to compete in the championship game on April 8. UConn are favorites to win the tournament, with odds of -225. Netanyahu has been given 2 options by the U.S. Both come at a high price. The Sydney Morning Herald. The United States' recent decision to abstain from a UN Security Council vote on a resolution calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza has marked an unprecedented rift in U.S.-Israeli relations. The move comes as the Biden administration grows increasingly frustrated with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's conduct of the Gaza war, particularly his determination to attack Rafah. Netanyahu now faces the choice of complying with the resolution and potentially facing revolt from within his government, or defying the resolution and risking tougher action from the Biden administration, such as a limitation on the supply of weapons to Israel. Here's who would start in secondary for Utah if the season began today. Yahoo! With cornerback Miles Battle testing the NFL draft waters after completing his NCAA eligibility, cornerback Travis Broughton transferring to LSU and nickelback Tau Johnson making the move to safety in 2024, plus starting safeties Cole Bishop and Sione Vaki headed to the NFL draft, the back end of Utah's defense is going to look different in 2024. Perth just had its driest 6-month stretch on record. What does this mean for our precious water resources? ABC. Perth, Australia, has experienced its driest 6-month stretch between October 2019 and March this year since rainfall data was first recorded 150 years ago. The city received 21.8 millimeters of rain during the period, breaking the previous record of 37 millimeters set in 1994-5. The situation has led to increased demand, but Water Corporation General Manager Evan Hambleton said the utility had been planning for such events for almost 30 years now. Perth has relied on desalinated seawater for an average of half its drinking water supply over the past 5 years. Dakota Joshua scores twice as Canucks claw out 3-2 win over slumping Ducks. The Globe and Mail. The Vancouver Canucks defeated the Anaheim Ducks 3-2, with Dakota Joshua scoring twice for the Canucks. Brock Boeser also scored a power play goal for Vancouver. Olin Zellweger and Mason McTavish scored for the Ducks. The Canucks remain at the top of the Pacific Division, 4 points ahead of the Edmonton Oilers. Goalkeeper Artur Silovs made 20 saves in his first NHL game since March 2023. The Canucks won all 3 games against the Ducks this season. Labour accuses ministers as childcare places fall by 1,000. The Independent. The number of childcare places in the UK has fallen by more than 1,000, even though demand is expected to rise with the introduction of free hours for 2-year-olds, according to the opposition Labour Party. The first stage of the government's childcare scheme will see parents of 2-year-olds receive 15 free hours a week. However, Labor has accused the Conservatives of having a childcare pledge without a plan and demanded that the Chancellor guarantees that eligible parents will not lose places as a result. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.